right? Like we've all been in the industry long enough to realize that we don't know everything, and there's plenty of ways to, actually do this thing effectively. So I think that just puts us in a really nice agnostic position to help everyone in the industry, however we can be a part of that.
We are about to launch.
Truth Not Trends. What's up, everybody? It is Liam Bauer in the house. I am here solo today. Jesse is on vacation, much needed and well deserved. I'm holding down the fort. Today, we had some awesome guests, a roundtable with the whole team from Reformed Fitness, Xavier, Logan, and Jacob. Great to have them on board with me today. We talked about all kinds of stuff, and we'll get into that in a moment. But first, let me tell you, we are the podcast that helps you maximize your strength as safely and efficiently as possible. Again, my name is Liam Bauer. I have been a strength coach for 36 years and counting. At TNT, we have been doing this for quite some time. I want to also say that we have 5 amazing supplements. So if you stop by the TNT store and you think your nutrition might need a boost, check out our 5 supplements. We have whey protein, we have fish oil, we have probiotics, we have vitamin K2 and D3. Yes, they go better together. And of course, creatine monohydrate, the #1 performance supplement there is. We have them all in the TNT store, free shipping in the continental US. Go check it out. I also want to give a nod to our partner, Inata Gym. Inata Gym is a company that makes smart gyms, probably, in my opinion, the best smart gyms on the market right now. I'm going to be working with them closely over the next few months and years, hopefully. And if you are interested in exploring their content, check out their website. They have 3 different offerings of smart gyms. I myself am working with 2 of them, the P1 Lite and the P1 Max, which are both amazing. If you use the code TAKU at checkout, if you decide to get one, you will get 20% off when you decide to get an Inata Gym smart gym. So I highly recommend you check out their website and go take advantage of that 20%. That's no joke.
I want to jump in right now, folks, real quick. I just want to say that as far as the supplements go, I take the protein, the creatine, and the gut biome. Protein is always great. The creatine is doing its job. The gut biome has been life-changing for me. I'll just say that. No one's paying me to say it, but it has really leveled off my nutrition. I feel like my stomach is digesting all the good stuff I'm putting in it thanks to that. And I tried the Inata Gym for the first time yesterday in the gym, and it's awesome. I'm still kind of new to the fitness industry, so there's a lot of new tools out there I haven't used, and Liam threw me on there yesterday, and it was a game changer, as far as just feeling that negative really pull on me. I got no breaks. When I tried to take a break, it just pulled harder, and it was great.
Nice. All right. You heard it right there from Desmond Cabby McNeese, the best sound engineer in the business. And so without further ado, enjoy this episode with the team from Reform Fitness, and we'll see you out there in TNT. Oh, I forgot one more thing. I got a new client, and he's our youngest client of all time. He gave me a brand new acronym for TNT, which I think is fantastic. He said it should stand for Today, Not Tomorrow.
Oh!
I like it. Yes. So start now, people, and enjoy this episode with Reform Fitness. Boom, baby.
Boom, baby.
All right. So I am here all by myself today. I am not in the studio. I am remote. And where are you guys all joining me from?
I'm right in Minneapolis, just right at the home office here. Yep.
Nice. What about you, Logan?
I'm still in Utah, so I actually head back to Minnesota at the end of the month, but for now I'm here.
And Jacob?
I'm usually in the St. Paul area as well, but I'm almost to Chicago.
Uh-oh. You're literally driving while you're doing this?
I'm a passenger right now, but yes, literally driving.
Okay, I was going to say that is the miracles of modern technology. All right. Well, I'm excited to see everybody, or almost see everybody, and happy to have you guys with us. And I'm looking forward to hearing, the story of who you are and how it came to be and all that kind of stuff. So anyone who wants to can dive in, and we'll go where we go.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess I'll start here, Liam, since everything started with me. And thank you for having us all on. We've been just looking forward to this for a while. So excited. I think the last time we spoke was like rec a while ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So, but Reform Fitness, well, I guess a little bit of background on me. I started working in high intensity training right out of college in 2017. Worked in the traditional high intensity boutique studio style for 5 years. During that 5 years, COVID happened. We had to switch to a completely virtual model. And that's where myself and I know Logan at that time, back in 2020, we had a lot of conversation around just the virtual service and bringing high intensity training into people's homes in a super convenient way. And we just realized, A, how convenient it was for a lot of people at that time, but just actually how effective we could make the workouts, do a really good full body 30-minute workout back in 2020 out of a necessity, essentially. Went back into the studio, of course, once things started opening up after COVID, but the virtual thing was kind of always on my mind. And I felt like it wasn't just an add-on service for high intensity studios and business. It's not a catch-all. It's not a net. It could truly be its own service and its own business. So just always had that itch. And a couple of years later in 2022, I decided to make the leap and go completely virtual with my high intensity training. Started really slow, just friends and family, referral here, referral there. All of a sudden, I had my hands full and did that for about 2 years. It was just me at Reformed Fitness, just me and my clients. And then around a similar time, towards the end of last year, early this year, reconnected with Logan and Jake. We had worked together before. They were excited about what I had been doing, and we started implementing or building out our health coaching program as well during that time. And so bringing them on board and adding our health coaching service is really what we've been working towards this year. And so got a nice little team together, great service on top of to complement our high intensity training. And that's where we are today.
Awesome. Well, that was a great intro and overview. And I want to dig deeper into both the high intensity training virtually and especially the health coaching service so I can understand the differences. And you guys, we can take turns, or you can jump in, or feel free. I won't be able to see Jacob raising his hand, although he can probably do that virtually with the Zoom stuff. But yeah, feel free to jump in. First of all, yeah, we also started during, TNT actually started during COVID as well. I mean, we had began as an information only service. So we started just doing the podcast, and I had a blog and all these things. And we about the same time as you started, Xavier, so around 2017. And the podcast was something that was just like something started out of literally conversations, and then just something that I enjoyed doing. I had actually been podcasting all the way back, like in the early 2000s, with another company that I had started with another guy, and we were way ahead of the curve in that respect. But
you always are, Liam.
So, but it's something we're still doing, obviously, and we love it. Especially me, it's like it's one of the things I look forward to. And then we started as virtual only as well, so we are familiar with it, and we still have it as an offering. So now we have like a hybrid model ourselves, where we do a lot of, obviously we do the live studio stuff, but we encourage all of our clients to recognize that they don't never need to miss a workout, because we can train with them virtually. And one of the things we've started doing is actually working with resistance bands specifically, just because they're such a great tool. And I'm sure I would love to hear about what the tools you guys recommend. But we've actually started either having like band sets that we can loan out when they know they're going out of town. Like, wow, I'm running out of town, I don't want to miss. Great, here's a set of bands, take them with you. Or we even drop ship them to people, like, I'm out of town, and we'll just, bam, here's a set, it's on its way, let's do this. And so more and more clients are recognizing they don't need to miss, because some of them would go, oh, I'm out for a month, so I'll see you guys then, when I get back. So now they're recognizing, oh, I don't even ever have to miss. And we got, people doing workouts from hotels in Italy or in Vegas, or, wherever they're at. And so that's very cool. Let's start a little bit more with the training, since that's where you began. Do you have like tools that you recommend, or obviously we know that you can work with any tool, including no tools?
Yeah, I'll talk about a little bit about what we recommend to start, but Logan is he's very well versed in options out there for, especially got a little bit of a higher budget. But honestly, what I tell people when they first start with us is we'll literally start you with nothing. We'll use a towel and a chair, and everyone has a chair and everyone's got like a bath towel or beach towel. And we'll start with body weight and time static contraction, just really, really intense contraction on the towel for like seated row is what we would use that for. But things like squats, lunges, wall sit, split squats, hip thrusts, all great leg exercises that we can do with no equipment. Same with upper body. We can do a lot of body weight things. But then as a client will get in with us, a lot of times they have some old dumbbells laying around, some bands. There's something that people just accumulate over the years. And so we'll just start people with whatever they have. But then we have a full exercise equipment list on our website. And some of the things that you'll see on there are long adjustable bands, the 50, 40, 30, 20, 10 set, where you can adjust all the way up, attach them all to handles. It's 150 pounds. The Versa bands, which you spoke about, obviously adjustable dumbbells or dumbbell set. Adjustable bench is something that we definitely recommend. A chin-up bar for certain clients, and we can get some bands to help with them. But those are some of the basic things. All of those individual things cost less than $100 individually. The bands that we recommend are usually $20 to $50. So people can really start with low investment and low commitment to equipment and not taking up a lot of space in their house and still get a really, really effective full body workout. Then, of course, as their budget increases, as they get into the workouts, Logan has some awesome recommendations for a little bit of more of a build out. And Logan, I'll let you speak on that.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with Zabe. I think the key to getting somebody in on virtual training is the realization that you don't need anything, right? And Liam, when I had the good fortune of coming out and working with you guys and learning from you, there's like the amount of exercises you can do with your body with any machines, it's endless, right? And it's really just limited by your creativity, and that's something that I really appreciate about you specifically, as well as obviously Jesse, but just your inventory of exercises that you have is just seemingly endless. So that's been great to really get people hooked. Is like, hey, even if they have a great home gym, a lot of times I'll tell people, let's just do body weight when we start, so they can see the value with nothing. And then we can always add more and more, right? You can build stuff on there. So you and I have been talking about a company. I actually don't know how to say it. Is it no Gym?
Yeah, not a gym.
Inada Gym,
Yeah.
which is like a sort of like a tonal variant. It's one of the floor-based electronic weight. I actually sent a client your blog recently, and hoping that he's maybe going to use your discount code to get one of those. So he's somebody who's willing to invest a little bit more. I also have another company that's California-based that you may or may not have heard of. It's called Temple of Gains.
No.
Yep. So similar to like Jacked Up, who makes the power racks, these guys make power racks. They also make tons of at-home equipment, like really high-quality steel at-home equipment that you assemble yourself. So they save money by shipping it to you in a box, unbuilt.
Yeah.
And then you put it wherever and you just build it yourself. And I just had a client buy their multi-use leg extension leg curl, which was really affordable. Brand new was $2,000. And he's like blown away by the quality, the build. So it really is just limited by what the person has and what their wallet looks like. But regardless, the guy who's spending $2,000 or the guy who's just using the towel or the girl, they're getting a fantastic workout regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to stay with the Inada Gym for a moment, I've been researching the smart gym stuff, a ton in the background. They're just going to only continue to improve and get better. But I started working with them specifically because there's other ones on the market that are similar or seemingly have slightly more features or whatever. But the things that attracted me to their offerings were, number one, there's other systems where you have to subscribe to a service like Peloton, where you have to pay a monthly fee. Now you've paid this big fee to purchase the equipment. Now you still have to pay this monthly fee in perpetuity, or else it doesn't really function at its best. The Naughty Gym has an app, but it's totally free. It has workouts, it has ability to track, control it, so forth. But you don't need the app. So some of these other systems, the app you can't access the system unless you use your phone. It's only controllable through the phone. The Naughty Gym, there's buttons and dials and things right on the platform. I don't need to ever look at my phone. I can do it all myself. I can create my own workouts. I don't need to deal with the app stuff. There's no ongoing fees. It's also far less expensive compared to some of the other offerings, especially if you use the code, which I can talk about later. With the bench and all the different things, sometimes you have to pay another $500 on top of the fee just to get the other stuff. So yeah, I just find what they're doing, and they also have three different models. So there's a base model they call the P1 Lite. There's a mid-level model, the P1 Plus, and then the top end model, the P1 Max. And the main difference is the amount of resistance that they offer. They all offer these abilities to change the modes, which is amazing. So they have a standard, which just feels like free weights up and down. You can set it so that it gives you a heavy negative automatically. So you can just choose that as an option. You can choose what they call chain mode, which is essentially resistance bands, right? The more you pull it, the harder it gets, just like a band. So if you like that band feeling, and for some movements, we know it matches the strength curve really well. And then they have something called speed mode, which is basically almost like, the harder you pull or push, the harder it gets. So kind of like using a flywheel or an inertial system. So it has all those available, super simple to adjust. And then you can adjust the resistance. You can do all these things, and they don't take up much space. The bench, which is super high quality, you can store the accessories inside it. It actually folds down. You can put that whole thing under your bed. I have it in a very small space. I actually have a P1 Max at my house right now. I have it in a really small space, kind of on purpose, just to show like, hey, I can squeeze it in here. I barely need, just the room, a few feet, is all you need. And you can do literally almost anything you can imagine that you could do with like one of those power rack systems, right? Because it has cable options, the bench, you have a barbell, you can do squats, deadlifts, all the traditional stuff. And then you can move through the different modes as well. So yeah, it's a super cool device. And for home stuff like you guys, definitely worth thinking about, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it really ranges like for our clients. And I think the biggest thing to keep in mind, and the reason why I think virtual one-on-one training is so effective, is because the two biggest barriers to exercise for most people is time. And of course, in the high intensity community, we know that's not actually a barrier if you're doing exercise correctly. And the second biggest barrier to exercise that people don't realize is access to equipment. And that's because people think they need access to high quality equipment. And I think in the high intensity community, because we love and we're just exercise lovers, we're like, I want to make my own home gym really special. And I want to make these recommendations. I want to talk about my MedX machines, etc. And I think we forget sometimes that our clients, they don't actually love exercise like we do. They don't necessarily want a home gym a lot of the times. They want to be able to like put their equipment away and like have a lunch party with their friends and family over and not have a bunch of fitness equipment. So I think you just have to, of course, make that recommendation based on the person and how much they are into their workouts and how much they're going to be into the equipment, and make that recommendation at that time.
The only thing I'd add on to that, Dave, because that's a great point, is, because we tend to target busy professionals, we have a lot of people that travel as well. So I love your idea, Liam, about, sending and drop shipping bands to people. One of the things that I pride myself on is because I'm a fitness lover, because I love so much different equipment, is I've used almost every major brand of fitness equipment on the market. So I know when somebody shows up at a random gym in the middle of Paducah, Kansas, and they've got just a rack of dumbbells, I feel confident. When they've got some, matrix multi-system, like, I feel confident. If they've got hoist systems, I feel confident. So the ability on our end to really know and understand a lot of different exercise equipment, I think, is such a value add to our clients, where a lot of people, as Dave mentioned, who are really deep in the high intensity training space, have maybe only ever used MedX equipment.
For sure.
They've only ever used Avenger leg press. It's like, sorry, buddy, that's not what most people have access to.
Yeah.
No, it's funny that you say that. Sorry to interrupt. It's funny you say that, because one of the things I found is both sides of that equation, right? I literally had a conversation with another coach when I was shopping around for some free weights. We didn't have any weight plates, and I was trying to get some for our power rack system. And I called a coach who was, selling free weights, and we were chatting. And he was like an Olympic lifting guy, right? So he's like, "Oh, I just have platforms and bumper plates, right?" He goes, "What's in your gym?" And I said, "Oh, we have, MedX and Nautilus." And he goes, "What? Oh, you should just throw that stuff away." He literally said that to me. He's like, "Why do you even have it?" You know what I mean? And I found both ends of that. Somebody will walk in and go, "Oh, you don't have kettlebells? Well, I can't get a workout." You know what I mean? Or you only have machine, or you have the opposite, right? You said like some guys, they've only ever used MedX, right? You came into a gym that only has a kettlebells and they're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
And it doesn't matter, right? We always joke, we can give somebody a workout with a box of rocks. It doesn't matter. And so that's one of the awesome things.
couldn't agree more.
The bands that I've been recommending the most in my career are this Body Elastics. I don't know if you guys use them or recommend them, but that product has been around since the 90s. I've literally been using them since they hit the market, and they've just continuously improved that product. Like the current ones are the best version they've ever made. There's like ropes inside so the bands can't snap. They actually have multiple weight load so you have an idea like here's the range 25 to 55 or whatever. You can stack them. Again, all the other advantages that bands have that we all know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jacob, you're very noisy, and I want you to shut up.
I think one more point of view that we haven't talked about is how many people still have club memberships, whether it's a Lifetime or LA Fitness, and they go there and pick up basketball, or they just use it for the sauna. It's like, no, you have this gym membership you're already spending $200 on. We can utilize every single piece of equipment they have in there. So I'd say that's really the blessing of virtual training, is that your options are so many that you just have to be creative, which I think was what Xavier says, that you just have to think on your feet and actually be able to prescribe a workout. And sometimes that's consistent. Sometimes that's just on the fly. I think people will forever love going to the gym still, and we're still an option for those people.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Do you guys, how right now as you exist, how do you feel you're finding the most clients, or how are people finding you? Is it word of mouth? Is it through the website? And then do you have trouble selling the concept of like, where they're like, well, I have a gym membership, so why do I need you? How do you guys, work around that conversation? That's great stuff.
I'll answer the first part of the question, which is how do we get clients? Of course, as you know, referrals are king. That's always going to be our bread and butter. That's always going to be where we're going to get the most clients from if we're giving great workouts. I believe if you give a great workout, they can't help but refer, because people don't shut up about good workouts, right? Like everyone wants to tell their friend how good their workout was. So if you give people great workouts, they will refer without even you asking for referrals. But of course, we ask for referrals as well. And that's where we're going to get most of our clients. The second biggest thing, which is also similar to a referral, is partnerships. So we've partnered with other high intensity gyms. Shout out to Owen at Live Oak. And we've partnered with as well some health coaches. So the health coaches will send us their health coaching clients so that we can take them through the workouts, because a traditional health coach just gives you written workouts, makes you go do them on your own. Instead, they partner with us. We get their clients through those workouts with them in a one-on-one setting. And then, high intensity gyms or other personal trainers can partner with us as well to offer a health coaching service to their clients to add a little bit more value. So referrals and partnerships, number 1 and 2 ways we're getting clients. That's, I would say, 90% of, if not more, of where we're getting clients from. And then, of course, social media is always going to be big, especially being a virtual business. But the people we meet and know, and that's where we really get the most of our clients. Logan, why don't you take that next part of the question?
Well, I just wanted to add to that too, Zav, is I think it's, we talked a lot about this when Xavier and I were having some initial conversations about me joining Reform Fitness, is we realize how big the market is, especially in the virtual space. And I think there's sort of a scarcity mentality in a lot of different communities, including high intensity training, where it's like, oh, somebody's coming for our business, right? If somebody opens right next door to TNT, that's another hit space.
Right.
Like there could be cannibalizing your business. I think we really wanted to go into this with the idea of, we want to be an asset to small businesses, in the sense of, you talked about, you guys still do virtual training. A lot of hit gyms still do some leftover virtuals from 2020, from COVID, but it's not their bread and butter. And if you talk to a lot of them, it's not really what they want to be doing. Like, they'd rather be training people in person. They're paying, a lot of times exorbitant amounts for the spaces that they're in, right? They'd rather offload that, but they need the income. So what we've been able to do, and what we're hoping to continue to do, is team up with places that would want that service still available. So say, let's use you guys as an example, right? And you drop ship your bands to Bob, and he's taking his trip to Utah, right? Because he's going skiing. And instead of you guys having to train him, he would pay you and you would pay us to train him, right? So he's still a TNT client. he's still going to come back and work with you guys when he comes back. But now you've offloaded that service and you can actually focus on bringing in intros while Bob's gone. Or you can pick up somebody else who's wanted that 5 a.m. spot that hasn't been able to get in. So we were really adamant about like wanting to be an additional service that other gyms could use. And then the health coaching is just a no-brainer because for clients, Xavier and I saw this for years, and Jake can obviously attest to this too. What's the one thing that's missing from most personal training gyms, specifically in high intensity training, is nutrition advice. It's health coaching. It's that extra aspect that everybody wants when they come into the gym. What should I be doing for the other 23 and a half hours a day that I'm outside of here? So I can't remember the initial question otherwise.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I agree with you. I think that's definitely an underserved part of what's going on. I mean, I've been, doing that with my clients through my entire career, creating nutrition plans, helping them with that stuff. We do a lot of that at TNT. Although I also, even in our situation, I feel like we don't do it enough or as well as we could. But we have certifications in nutrition, and again, my background is in nutrition is as deep as it is in the strength training stuff. I've created a ton of content around that and things that I can give. If someone has questions, eating plans and all kinds of things.
And Liam, you're brilliant, but most people don't have a Liam, right? Like they've got somebody who's just working there part-time or like that's just their job. And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's like as a owner, you can have the best nutrition plan, the best advice, all of those things to give to your clients. But what do you need? You need time to talk to them and actually walk them through it. And as you know, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, like you've got 30 minutes. You need to get them through the workout. It's hard to add in like, oh, how's your calories going this week?
Exactly,
like you almost need that designated additional time. So sorry to cut you off.
Liam, I think more than creating nutrition plans or meal plans, we're not creating meal plans. We're not telling people necessarily exactly what to eat for each meal. Of course, we're more going general with it's more about accountability than anything. And so how can you hold them accountable truly outside of their workouts when you're in the workout 30 minutes, focusing on every rep, every set, and making sure you're coaching it effectively? You really can't ask them about all the other areas, nutrition, daily movement, hydration, sleep, in addition to their workouts. You really dialed in the workout. Maybe you ask them a little bit about their exercise habits outside of their workouts, and you try to give them as much nutrition advice as you can, caloric deficit, etc. But then you send them out the door and you wait until next week and you catch up with them. Hey, how'd that stuff go? I didn't do any of it. Or, I don't even remember what the calorie goal you gave me was. Or
you told me when I was on leg press. How was I supposed to remember?
My ears were ringing. I couldn't hear. Yeah. So I think that's like the biggest thing is we're helping hold them accountable. We're not breaking news that they need to eat less and exercise more and dial in their hydration and sleep. We're not breaking news. What we're really helping them do is build the tools that they can sustain that and hold them accountable. So
and is that a whole separate offering? I mean, are you guys do you have clients that are just coaching clients, so to speak?
Yes.
And then
Jake, go
ahead, Jake.
Jake, why don't you speak about how that all works?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, I think Zav and Logan pretty much already hit on it, but I just got frustrated enough in the December, January time of clients leaving and clients not seeing results. And I am a teacher by heart and wanted to be able to spend time with people that were not during the 30-minute workout to actually teach them what they should be doing with the other 168 hours during a typical week. And we know that if they are even 75% strict on themselves when it comes to sleep and hydration and daily movement and so on and so forth, like they're going to see results. And that's really where this whole kind of health coaching came to fruition. To go back to your actual question, yeah, we have a large part of our clients are working out with us and doing our health coaching. But we definitely have people that just like found us on social media or like are like referrals of friends or family that we're specifically just working with them for their health coaching, and they're going to their normal gym for workouts or they're working out with their wife still. We're not touching anything necessarily workout related. Besides maybe we're asking how their workouts are going. The 8 hours of typical week that we know will actually help them see results.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's funny. We do have some basic sort of, recommendations, which are probably similar to some of yours that we make with every single client, right? When they come in on that very first day.
Right.
We do actually have an offering on our menu, which includes, if for lack of a word, health coaching, where basically they have strength training sessions and separate dedicated nutrition sessions. And that's like a package offering that they can purchase where it includes both. So some sessions are only the nutrition component and those other elements, and then some are the pure strength training, and they don't cross over except for that minor stuff that might pop up in conversation. So we do have things like that, although again, it's not something that people utilize. But what's interesting is we have these recommendations that we give sort of across the board, and just as a team, we decided to sort of put them into action on ourselves, proof of concept, right? So we did it, what we called it our summer shred, right? The whole team did it, and we did 10 weeks, and we followed the advice that we give to our clients. And every single person on the team lost 20 pounds at least and gained muscle. Jesse, Ryan, Eric, all the coaches, they all followed the plan and they all implemented it. And by the end of that 10 weeks, everyone was, 10% or less body fat, everything with the goals that were, and all the clients are like, what are you doing? And we're like, we're doing exactly what we tell you to do, but we just did it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I have a question for you, Liam. How complex was that plan that you guys gave yourself?
yeah, not at all complex.
It's amazing how we give very simple and easy advice because of our all of our clients are pretty much business leaders, executive lawyers, doctors. They're very busy people, have families as well. And so the biggest thing is like, hey, we don't need to change everything. If you just do the simple things, the five most simple habits that you can have: structured exercise, daily movement, nutrition, balanced diet, nutrition, hydration, and sleep. If you just do those five things consistently, you will reach your goals. Like it is so simple, and it's amazing just how we don't have to change a whole lot for people to start actually reaching their body composition goals, which is ultimately what the health coaching is for. It's for people who want to improve their body composition. So either building a bunch of muscle or losing fat, which a lot of people maybe don't have those goals, and it's just not for them. But it's amazing just how simple those habits can be, and they just get such great results. Like you said, it's just accountability.
Yeah, we know that 99% of people do have some fat that they want to lose, and but I mean, we also have clients. Obviously, we have clients that have worked with us for 7, 8, 9, 12 years plus, because people follow you right in the personal training world, and I've some of those clients had the same 10 pounds to lose since I met them. You know what I mean? They've continued to get stronger. They're happy. They keep coming back, and every quarter they go,
Yeah.
I still haven't lost that 10 pounds. And I go, yeah, well, you're still drinking vodka martinis and eating ice cream every night. When you're ready to do something about that, yeah. When you're ready to do something about that, you will. I can only tell you so many times. It's funny. We have some. I try to make everything as easy as possible. So like some of our most classic things is people say we say eat a gram of protein per pound of your target weight, right? Which is actually a little bit high, right? We it's just like an insurance policy. We say pick your target weight and add a 0 to that number. That's how many calories you need in a day, right? You want to weigh 200 pounds, eat 2,000 calories. You want to weigh 160 pounds, eat 1,600 calories a day. It's that easy, and it works every freaking time. You know what I mean? If they do it.
If they do it, and that's the problem, they don't do it. And that exact scenario, Liam, is what I saw and what I've seen for nearly a decade in this business, right? You have that client and a lot of those clients that you said, hey, I want to lose these 10 pounds next, month, 2 months later. You give them the advice. Maybe you take a bunch of time, you send them a great email, you have a phone call with them for 15 minutes. You say, here's the plan. Here is everything you need to do to lose those 10 pounds. And you spend a lot of time with them creating that plan, and then they just don't do it because it's not the plan, it's the accountability they actually need. And so that's the scenario I kept seeing play out. And when it's this, the health coaching really came from Jake. He pitched me an idea. I'm like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. This is what I've always wanted to have for our clients. Just didn't have a way to really do it. And so shout out to Jake for providing all that value to our clients.
Yeah, and Zaven, just going up from what you said, we feel like we've gotten a lot of pushback amongst a lot of our health coaching clients initially of not being too strict because they had some sort of dietitian or nutritionist in the past that was overly strict on them. And we know you actually don't need to be that strict. And I've seen time after time where I've literally given someone a goal, that not even a calorical, but just a goal of track everything that goes into your mouth, not even telling them how much to eat. And they'll come back the next week, be like, oh yeah, like I lost 2 pounds this week. And I didn't even tell them how much to eat. They were just more conscientious of what they were actually putting in their mouth just by telling them to track it.
Yeah, I used to teach people how to read food labels, things like that. all kinds of stuff. Then I got to the point where I said, anything you pick up, if there's more than a a sentence, put it back. You don't even need to, you don't even need to read what is in there. You just need to see that there's more than like 3 to 5 words. Then just put it back. And stuff like that. I used to do a lot of in-home training, and I would go to people's houses, dump stuff out, take them to the grocery store, show them how to shop. And we did all kinds of crazy stuff over the years. But yeah, it can be quite simple. So it sounds awesome.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned too, Liam, with your whole team, right? Like you guys are all trainers, you know what to do.
Yeah.
And it took everybody doing it together. What was the secret sauce there? What was the accountability? Nobody wanted to be the odd man out, right? So it's not like none of you didn't know what you were recommending to other people.
Sure.
It's the reason why, I have a coach that I work with. It's the reason why my fiance, who knows, she's been training for 15 years as well. Like she knows what to do, but she needs somebody. You got to report to someone. Like you need somebody at the top of the hill to say like, hey, were you actually doing this? If it wasn't for accountability, there would have been one diet book written ever, and everybody would have lost all the weight and that'd be it. But no, there's 10 new diet books every month that come out that are bestsellers because people try it and it works a little, but then they don't have the accountability piece and everything falls apart. So
for sure. Yeah, that's awesome. So when someone finds you guys on the web, and I haven't looked at your website transparently, I need to go take a peek. Do you see these separate offerings? And I'm assuming there's like you can get training as a standalone, you can get coaching, or there's a combined service, I would imagine.
Yeah. So the way it works when someone goes onto our website, we always start with a free discovery call. And essentially on that call, it's a 20 to 30-minute chat. And we really dive deeper into what that person's goals are and what their why is. So why do they want to reach those goals? And we really try to dig deep and like not a surface level why, like, I want to get stronger so I can play with my kids. Well, why is that important? And then you dive deeper and like, well, my dad wasn't around, yada, yada, because he had a heart attack and couldn't play with me. And I want to avoid that. And that's really their why, is they want to avoid that situation. We dive deep on that. And then we say, okay, I understand where you are. I understand your goals, your past history with exercise, maybe your past history with a health coach. I think you should start here. And we make that professional recommendation on that discovery call of, I think you should start with both training with us twice a week and health coaching right from the start. Or I think you should just start with twice a week training, or once a week, or 3 times a week. We offer once, twice, or 3 times a week. I think you should just start with workouts. We'll get that under control, which is what most people do. And then 2 months later, once we've got your workouts dialed in, we're building that habit. Now we'll add a little bit more on your plate and get you into our health coaching program, because you said your goal was to lose 10 pounds. And this is a way we can actually help you lose 10 pounds. We know high intensity training is going to get you exponentially healthier, but it's not alone going to change your body composition dramatically. So let's start there and then add in the health coaching. So it's the discovery call first, and then they either do our one-on-one workouts, do our health coaching, or potentially do both after we've actually gotten a chance to speak with them and understand. We've had clients that will train with us and jump on health coaching, people who are health coaching, like, all right, I actually do need help with my workouts, then jump in halfway through. So, but that's the general flow of how everything works.
Yeah, it's funny. We're also offering like once, twice, or 3 times a week with the strength training. For a long time, we just did once or twice, and 3. We used to jokingly say, I don't know if you guys know about In-N-Out Burger, right? Because it's out here all over the place.
We have them in Utah.
In-N-Out Burger has, what they call the secret menu, right? They only offer a couple things, hamburger, cheeseburger, but they have a huge secret menu, right? So we used to present it that way. We'd say we only have hamburger, cheeseburger, like once a week, twice a week. We do have a secret menu, and we would train people 3 times a week if they wanted it, but it wasn't
animal style.
It was exactly. It wasn't a public offering.
Yeah.
And now we've made it part of the menu.
We're pretty transparent with our clients. Like, hey, the difference between 2 and 3 strength training workout, full body, high intensity strength training workouts per week is probably not that significant for most people. However, if it's gonna help you be more active, then more exercise is not gonna be bad for you. If you want to do 3 full body workouts, it's not gonna hinder you in any way, of course. So we're pretty transparent about that. And for a lot of people, they don't train hard enough, quite frankly, to not be able to recover between workouts. So, and if someone's a little bit less intense, meaning they're probably not getting to true failure, or they have a hard time getting to failure, then that's really where we're like, hey, I think you actually probably need 3 of these less intense workouts. to get where you want to be.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, we all have encountered that.
And I think that's something I've kind of transitioned, over the course of being in this industry as well. And I'm sure, with your background, Liam, you've done everything from 7 days a week, twice a day, all the way down to, once every 14 days. But, the type of person that we tend to attract to they're usually on one side of the spectrum or the other. I would say, like, they're very time strapped and they just can't find any time to work out. And we need to really broach the subject and sort of sneak in a workout or two in the beginning to help them start feeling better. Then they can start building some momentum from there. Or the very other side, which these people are few and far between, but I'm thinking of a client I used to train that, we would adamantly say once or twice per week. This was at a previous company that I was with, and that was really the only options. And this guy would tell me he would work out for an hour before I saw him, and then he'd work out for 30 minutes with me, and then he'd work out for another hour by himself. That's like, why don't we just train him for 3 hours a week?
I did. I actually had a couple women years ago when I was working for another company. They were very well off, San Francisco, high-powered business women, and they were getting ready for something, and they hired me. They wanted to hire me for 5 days a week training, and I was like, you don't need to train with me 5 days a week. And they were like, literally, the woman said, "Money's no object, right?" And I was like, okay, if that's what you want. And I trained them 5 days a week for months and months. And honestly, some of those days were just like me standing there talking to them while they were walking on the treadmill. You know what I mean? Because I can't crush them with strength training 5 days a week, But they wanted me to be there, right? Accountability, support, structure, all that stuff. And so I did it. And, hey, it was great for my paycheck,
Yeah, and I think as a practitioner, that's where you're like, okay, I need to save this person from themselves. And that's where I'm adding value, is helping them understand that if we just walk on the treadmill, that's actually going to be better for you because you're going to actually recover from your previous workout. And that's where you're going to get the benefit. And that's where you as a practitioner, while it seemed easy for you, you were actually doing your job by telling them or saving them from themselves by backing them down a little bit. So I always think if they're in front of you more, that's not a bad thing because you can dial the intensity back. You're in control ultimately. So if someone is training with me 3 days a week and I think that they're not performing well, we can say, all right, let's dial this way back. Let's change the whole plan for the day.
Sure.
And this is not going to be the same workout that you normally do. And I think that's still the best thing for them.
That's one of the things that we do, certainly, that I think at TNT that's very different than a lot of, high intensity training gyms. We don't really call ourselves high intensity training anymore. We kind of jokingly say we're like HIIT influenced or HIIT adjacent, right? But I mean, for decades, I've been, working with strength and conditioning. I spent a lot of time working with super high level athletes, professional athletes and national competitive athletes in variety of sports. These days, our model is really a hybrid model. I mean, and we base it on recovery, on, we're watching each client, we're tracking meticulously. But unlike the classic high intensity where we're just trying to get everything's always to failure. I mean, some days I might see, wow, on Monday, this guy had a brutal, negative emphasized total body. He really works hard. He's fast, twitchy. So the next workout he comes in, I do something totally different. It might be jumping jacks and push-ups and boot camp style, right? And we get him moving and he's still working, getting some conditioning, but we're not trying to go to failure on everything. It might be just timed sets or whatever, right? But they're always happy, right? We pay attention and we implement all different types of things across that spectrum. And we're not hung up on the idea that every workout has to be to failure and, forced reps and negatives and all these things, right?
Yeah.
We're constantly evaluating and changing those structures around.
Hey, what are those guys doing here? Whenever I feel like I'm stalling out on my bench press, I know I need a new strength curve.
Whether you're stalling out on the road or stalling out in the gym, you need something with great engineering.
That's right. And
So look for the pendulum. Pendulum.
Not just your average strength machines.
No, they have smooth strength curves.
Amazing rigidity.
And did we mention the engineering's fantastic?
That's right. Not to mention, they come in cool colors.
Like red.
And silver. Well, that was kind of weird. What was that all about? Back to the interview.
Being there and working with you and Jesse was a huge part of my adjustment, just from a educational perspective, and seeing oh yeah, there's so many more options out here besides just let's take everything to absolute true failure. The only other note I wanted to throw in here too before you jump in, Zaid, is I think it's important, as we talk about the partnerships that we're creating and the health coaches that we're working with and the gym owners that we're working with, is we are pretty agnostic as far as what you're doing, as long as you're doing something. Meaning, like, if you're a gym owner and say you run a CrossFit gym and you want your clients to have access to really good health coaching services, like, I'm not going to try to change your client from a CrossFit person if that's what they enjoy doing. I'm completely agnostic as far as what they want to come in and do, or vice versa. If they're a health coach that's sending us somebody for workouts because they understand the value of that, I'm not going to give your person any nutrition advice. Like, that is on you. So I think that's important, that we can sort of play in the middle area, and play in the gray, and because we've all sort of, if you think of God, what's the top of Mountain Stupid? What do you call that? Dunning-Kruger, right? Like, we've all been in it. We've all been in the industry long enough to realize that we don't know everything, and there's plenty of ways to actually do this thing effectively. So I think that just puts us in a really nice agnostic position to help everyone in the industry, however we can be a part of that. So just wanted to put that out there as well.
And just to be clear, when they do workouts with us, that's high intensity training, of course.
Yes,
but when we do health coaching with someone and they say, I'm working out with this trainer, however they're doing their workouts with their trainer, we're not going to step on that trainer's toes and say, oh, that trainer doesn't do high intensity training. You're not going to get good benefits from our health coaching. That's exactly what Logan's saying. We'll let that trainer train however they feel like is going to be best for that client, because they've been training that client. And same with the health coach. If they feel like certain nutrition advice is what that client needs, we're not going to step on their toes and say, this is what we tell our clients, that person is wrong. We're not going to do that at all. So
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate that. We've actually, had people, we've just literally either encouraged them to go someplace else before they even get started. Somebody shows up and they want to do powerlifting specifically, right? Like, yeah, I can teach you how to bench press and squat and everything, right? But that's not what I want to do with I want to be efficient. Maybe it'll take me 6 months to get your squat dialed in.
yeah.
I don't want to do that. If that's what you want to do, we literally, and you may remember this, Logan, we
I
literally
was just going to say, send them across the street.
right across the street. I mean, I can hit it with a rock, and I just tell people, hey, go right over there, right? That's what they do. You want to do Olympic lifting? I got a guy that can help you, right? But do I know how to do it? Yes. I'm not going to do it. It's not what I do here. So, and I don't have any problem. We've even had people sign up, do some workouts, and just not really buy in to our approach. And I just go, we want you to have success and be happy and everything. I think you should go someplace else. Like, we do this diplomatically, right? And they leave and they're
yeah.
And I go, and if you need help finding a place where you'll feel more at home, you let me know and I'll help you find it,
I think that's so key. And that's what, even going back to our discovery calls, that's the first thing I say. Like, this call is meant to just find out if I can help you. And if I can't, then I'm going to find you someone who can help you. And I think that's just the best approach when it comes to the fitness community. Our goal as a fitness community is to help people exercise and help people get healthier. And if they're not engaged in high intensity training, or heaven forbid, they don't believe in high intensity training for whatever reason, instead of getting offended or mad at them, we say, okay, let's figure out a way where you can be active. And you know what? If you feel like CrossFit's the best way for you to be active, while I don't agree with it, I still want you to be active and reach whatever goal you have for yourself. So I think that's just always the best approach. So I appreciate you saying that, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you with the nutrition stuff as well. We don't judge anybody's nutrition, they whether they're vegans or,
right.
South Beach or, whatever they want to do. We have things that we feel are effective, but I mean, we never tell people, oh, that's no good or it's wrong or whatever, right? We stick with just basic information and try to meet them where they are. We've had pure vegan people coming in. Obviously, we have all kinds of things. It's not worth arguing with that stuff, but we try to help them. We try to help them create a better version of that if it's possible, but try not to step on anybody's toes, if you will.
100%.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And how long has your company existed up to this point?
It's existed 2.5 years. 2022 is when we first started. So
nice.
I guess going on 3 years now.
And there's just 3 of you at the moment?
3 of us at the moment. Looking to expand before the end of the year. We'll have likely have a 4th exercise physiologist. We also have an executive administrator that does some back end stuff for us as well. And we've got an awesome videographer, Ashton. If anyone in the high intensity space, I'm going to give him a shout out. If anyone needs a videographer in the high intensity space, especially, he is awesome. He's helped us a ton. And he's really gotten a chance to understand high intensity training and really help us with our messaging and all of that. So we've got a nice little team for both our clients and for kind of the back end stuff that we do here.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're lucky. We have a super good coaches right now too. We have two coaches besides Jesse and I, and they're both awesome. And they both have degrees in exercise science and backgrounds in physical therapy, but they're just good guys, and they just they pick it up. They're like sponges. They got great personalities, and they're crushing it every day. So that's why Jesse's actually on vacation right now. He's in New York. He's got his first vacation in like 7 years because he, got to a place where we were so comfortable with the team that we figured like, hey, we can actually step away and people can hold down the fort. And so I'm looking forward to taking my turn in the not too distant future. I haven't had a vacation since 2012. So I'm way overdue.
It's time.
Yeah. So I let Jesse go first, and when he gets back, then I'm going to run away. We aren't in a position where both of us can run away, unfortunately, at the same time. But that'll come soon enough.
Well, Liam, if you have a bunch of virtuals on your plate,
Yeah, right.
Your clients can train at your gym virtually, and well, you're gone.
Do you guys have you already considered this, or do you try to partner with like companies or corporations where you can give them like a deal, like, hey, your clients or your workforce can benefit from less sick days and more productivity and blah blah blah, and like offer it as like a package service, like State Farm insurance, local blah or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Little companies.
Yeah, like as part of their benefit package is definitely something that's on our radar. Haven't done that yet. And honestly, Liam, the reason I didn't do that for a while is because if someone said yes and it was just me, I would not have been able to fulfill.
Yeah.
So for a while, that's why I hadn't done that. And then the other biggest thing, Logan, is our hotel partnerships that we're really trying to. That's what when we do dive into that, that's what we're gonna jump into. So Logan, maybe you could speak on that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, I get it immediately there.
Yeah, we've got some ideas for that. And then the other thing I would say, Liam, is just in general, like the great thing about this concept and why I was so excited to join Zabe is because this is my office, right? Like right now I'm at home. How many personal trainers get to do that? Very few, unless and the ones that are in the virtual space are writing programs for people that they're delivering. They're not actually training people on a regular basis.
Sure.
So if you think of, you mentioned we want to team up with a local business, right? And say, offer them some services. Well, I still have to go into the building in where you guys are in Oakland. Okay. So I have to drive down the street there. I have to find parking. I have to do all this stuff. Well, we can contact a location in Oakland, send them, a couple of tripod stands and an iPad. And then next thing we're training their entire staff.
That's what I was implying. No,
100%, and that's what I'm saying. So the future of what this could look like is very exciting. Obviously, we're sort of in the beginning phases of really expanding it because we're just trying to get up to speed, grow the team, all of those things. But 100%,
you could have those little. Have you seen those like little self-balancing, quote unquote robots? It's basically like
where they drive around.
Yeah, it's basically like a mini Segway with an iPad on it.
Yeah.
You guys could have those and like rolling around and like talking, hey, come over here, and like follow the person around the room.
I mean, 100%. And that's one of the things we thought about with hotels. So we had talked about, teaming up with big hotels in major cities as sort of an offering for like, a JW Marriott or something. Somebody's paying for an executive suite. They want to get in a free workout. The hotel would pay us, or it's just a free workout so that we can meet these, executives that are staying in these hotels. They have the Reformed Fitness tripod or the little robot that they hand them, right? And then we, kick their butt. We've literally never met this person in person.
Sure.
So it just, it takes what in most major cities is a pretty large pool of people and expands it into a freaking ocean of potential clients. So I think that's the thing to me that's most exciting is the opportunities in this virtual space are endless. And there's so many companies that are going away and away and away from personal interactions, specifically in virtual, right? So it's all, tonal, it's watching videos of people. It's, even with your why can't I say it? Inauda gym. It's like you're not actually interacting with anybody, right? You're doing your own thing there personally, but it's like a virtual workout or electric workout. Here, we're still bringing that as close to a personal aspect as you can get anywhere in the world. And I think there's going to be a huge thirst for that as things become more and more despondent and distant and brick and mortar becomes less and less something that people are really focusing on.
Yeah, yeah. On the other side of that, though, do you ever consider, or would you consider, doing bigger groups for, say, the coaching, like simultaneous versus just always one on one, like meeting with 10 people at once, or again, maybe imagine you have a company that has 200 employees, and you could give little coaching simultaneously to 30 of them that bought into this concept.
Are you saying health coaching?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Depending on what the topics are.
I think we would want like seminar style things rather than coaching, because as you know, just like in a workout, the one-on-one supervision is always going to be best, and personalization is why. And the same is true for health coaching. If it's one-on-one and you're really able to dive deep with that person, because it's a lot of times it's not just like we've talked about, it's not just telling them what to do, it's actually making sure they do it, checking in with them daily, making sure. So seminars and larger group audiences and teaching in that manner is definitely something we've love to do. I've spoken, lunch and learns with other companies, educate them about high intensity training, etc. We're all about that for sure. As far as like large group health coaching, like clients paying for like a large group setting like that, probably not. Just same reason why a gym wouldn't do a 20-person group workout. Just
right
wouldn't be beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, we do some corporate speaking engagements, so same thing, where we get brought in to give a talk to a bunch of managers or whatever, right? Yeah. Which I totally is a different kind of feeling, for sure. But yeah, just curious about what else is on your potential.
I mean, I've personally done group training and like large group training in the past. It's not ideal in the virtual space. It makes more sense. That's one of the few things that makes more sense, is like watching somebody as opposed to having somebody watch you.
Sure.
When you've got so many different bodies to do. But yeah, I guess I hadn't thought about the large group. Okay, you're giving me some ideas, Liam. So.
I used to teach group exercise, as well, like when I worked in other commercial gyms, where people, I would teach a class on something, and you have 30 people come in, and I enjoyed it actually. It's a very different
Did you?
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different. That's an exhausting job.
Yeah, and it's you people are definitely not working as hard as they could. I would literally tell these people, because I had regulars, would never miss, and my classes were popular and so. But I would tell them, this is not actual real strength training. Like if you really want to do that, hire me one on one. Like you're having fun. You're having fun.
Yeah.
If you want to really know what it feels like, let's do some one on one stuff. I appreciate that you're here, right, and you're doing it.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the same thing. I would have people come up to me afterwards, and they'd be like, that workout wasn't very hard. And I'm like, well, yeah, I noticed I said jump as high as you could, and you were jumping like 1 inch off the ground. I'm like, that's not my fault. you know what I mean? Like I'm telling you how hard to work. You're not choosing to do it. I used to joke with, how people do spinning, right? I used to joke that I would want a spinning class where I had control of everyone's bike.
Their notches.
So like, people like they couldn't fake it, right? I'm like, oh no, you're going up to 7, my friend.
That's hilarious.
I see you back there.
Could tap into some people's Carol bikes or something.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, luckily Carol takes care of that itself. Those bikes are awesome.
That's right.
I actually have a Carol bike at my house. I've got the 1-2 punch of awesome high intensity stuff. I got a Carol bike, and now I have the Nada Gym too. So I have some great tools at home.
You're just a biohacker.
Gonna live to 200 years.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna outlive Dave Asprey. That guy, he's always on Instagram talking about how he wants to be the first guy to live to be 150, and I was like, are you sure you're not there yet? You look pretty old.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about a lot of those biohackers, and like I'm blanking on the guy's name, that he's one of those guys that's like shooting up all kinds of supplements and NAD and all those things.
Oh yeah, you talking about that guy that's like what do they call him, like Dr. Huge or whatever, that guy that like experiments with all the SARMs and everything?
Oh, no. This guy does not look like he has worked out a day in his life.
Oh, okay.
He's like a longevity person, but he is the biggest weakling on the planet. It's like you're not doing the one thing that could actually make you live longer with relatively minimal effort compared to like just shooting up, a ton of different supplements and things. So
there's this guy's, I think he's actually local. Like, I mean, I think maybe Sacramento, which is like 100 miles away from me. He calls himself something like Dr. Huge. He's not a doctor, obviously, but there's some movies about his stuff. It's crazy. I think the movie's called Enhanced you should look for it. But that's all. This guy does the opposite. I mean, he's a strength training guy, but all he does is take as much drugs as he can possibly take and experiment on himself with them. And his methodology is, like keep taking it until I feel the side effects, and then back off and find out where I can be okay. And he'll like get sick like repeatedly, like, well, that was too much. You know what I mean? I almost died, but I look fucking great,
I look great. There you go. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it is wild. I don't go in that direction exactly.
Well, speaking of getting huge and maximizing your body's potential, we actually, one of the things we do with our clients, and maybe Zaid wants to chat about this a little more as well, but we recently teamed up with a HRT clinic that's based out of North Carolina.
Nice.
That oddly enough is actually super serendipitously happened to be owned by a friend of mine from college that I only found out like months later into the process of us kind of teaming up with them. So, we're really trying to take a holistic approach to offering as much as we can to our clients. And obviously we know, and that the resistance training piece is going to be the easiest, largest lever that people can pull. But like you said, with so many clients, they've had the same 10 pounds to lose for 15 years. Well, what else could they be doing to maximize and optimize their health and performance? Well, diet, nutrition, sleep, movement, all the things we talked about. Okay, well, what else besides that? Well, hormone therapy for a lot of people that tend to be in our space, in our audience, is something that's a major tool that they can use. If they have access to it, they understand it, and they can get educated on it.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've had a few clients, a few guests on the podcast who have, been, proponents of that sort of thing. And I don't know if you caught that episode we did not too long ago with Dr. Hutchison, called "In Defense of Doping." That was a great conversation. Definitely an episode worth listening to. He was a guest who wrote a book called with that title, "In Defense of Doping." We had some really interesting conversations about, drugs in sports and all kinds of things. But yeah, I mean, that's another thing that that I don't judge, right? Like people, it's funny. I've been a strength coach for such a long time. People who meet me and they, oh, you're a strength guy. You must think steroids are terrible. I'm like, no, not necessarily. You know what I mean? It depends on who's doing it, why, what, how. You know what I mean? Like, I find that the answer for many questions is often it depends, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest one with the HRT too is like with women especially, and the reason we teamed up with Rise is because we want to just have just an abundance of resources that we know, like, and trust that we can refer our clients to, because ultimately the personal trainer is often the first line of defense, the first person that realizes something's wrong with a person, and then recommends them to go to sometimes a doctor, but physical therapist, etc. Like we notice something's not quite right. And one of the things that we do when we first intake someone for health coaching is we ask them to get a blood test along with a body composition test, and we do abdominal circumference just to capture results. But if we notice on that blood test that something's lacking, there's a client that I trained. She had a stroke a year ago. She did a blood test. Turns out she has literally zero testosterone, none, zero. And so how are we going to be able to effectively build muscle when she literally has zero testosterone? We need to refer to an endocrinologist and a doctor to figure that out so that we can help her build muscle as she's aging. So ultimately, we just want to compile these resources. So Rise is one of those that we were able to meet with the CEO, really get to know them, and understand how their process works and how they deal with their clients. And we felt like it aligned with what we do and how we're wanting to help our people just become the healthiest versions of themselves. And HRT is just one of those mechanisms that we have. It's not something we necessarily recommend immediately when someone starts working with us. We'd like to onboard them and try some of the other things that we do. But if we work with them for 9 weeks and they build minimal muscle and everything else was perfect, their calories, the protein, their workouts, then there's something else at play that we know is happening because we're tracking this very diligently. And so if we don't make that recommendation to them, we are not doing our jobs. We are doing a disservice to them. So this was just a great opportunity for us to really be able to provide great value. So
yeah, you guys, Logan or whoever has my email should send me the information on that particular group so I can, I have some clients that I'm working with now who I've been with for a long time who I think need to look into it, and I've been recommending it very, casually. People have all different feelings around that stuff, right? And whether they want to pull that trigger or not. We have a female client we had on quite some time ago, Tommy Moreau. She formerly was a professional female bodybuilder who had, manipulated her hormones tremendously as an athlete in that space. But now, long retired, she still, uses hormone therapy and thinks everyone in the world should be doing it, right? To get it optimized. And she's like got it dialed. So she's constantly getting blood work and tweaking things up and down, right? Like, oh, I need a little more growth hormone, or you know what I mean? And she's all into that, and she thinks like the world should do it. You know what I mean? So she's like the biggest proponent.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's it's something that is not shouldn't be ignored for sure.
Yeah. We don't tell them what to be, what panels to be taking, things like that. We just rather, hey, get this blood test, get some more information on it, and talk to the doctor, make sure everything's good there, and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely send you that, Liam. We don't have to spend too much more time on this, but just anecdotally, I can speak to it a little bit too, because I was working 70 hours a week when I first moved out to Utah. I was run down. I was tired. I told you guys before, I have a history of addiction. So I beat myself up pretty bad. And I finally was working with a coach. I got some blood tests done, and I was in the low 300s for my testosterone, which for anybody that knows what the spectrum is, that's not where you're supposed to be at 35 years old, right? So I started working with Rise, which is how that connection was made initially, not knowing, again, that it was an old college buddy of mine that owned it. And I've seen, I'm a completely different person now since starting to take TRT. And it's not a massive dose. Like, I'm not trying to become Arnold Schwarzenegger or anything, but it's enough to really feel a difference in my everyday life. And I can see, having not done it and then done it, why someone would be such an advocate, because it's such a light bulb moment for a lot of people. And the people that do take it, that I know that take it, are like, yeah, I would never not take it now. Like, there's so many things in our environment these days that sort of create a non-ideal hormonal environment for people, that having a way to supplement that appropriately, and obviously under the supervision of somebody that knows what they're doing, is something I would definitely, if you've never thought about it, at least doing some investigating into it.
Yeah. I actually get my blood work done as well, and I'm on the fence sometimes about. I haven't been doing any TRT stuff, but I was thinking about it. I mean, I'm 63, and my testosterone was like over 500 last time I checked, so I felt pretty good about it.
That's great.
So I didn't, I haven't done anything, but it's always in the back of my mind, and I still feel good and add muscle, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm sure that I would feel better.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't need it, they don't need it. But
yeah,
you don't need it, you don't need it. But
next, for my next summer shred, maybe.
Yeah,
my secret weapon.
I think that's something that's lacking just in our, I say our big umbrella of high intensity training, or just people in the, HIIT adjacent space like you guys. We're so focused on the workouts and the connections and the quality of what we're doing on a day-to-day basis that a lot of times the social media goes to the side. And is that the biggest driver of new business? Probably not. It's still going to be referrals, but man, is it nice. Like, if you've seen the Reform Fitness Instagram, like, it's better than anything going in the HIIT space right now. And that's all Ashton. So
yeah, that's fantastic. And I don't doubt it, because I do think that's something that's lacking in the HIIT space across the board, just all kinds of stuff related to marketing that could be improved.
What was the thing you said right before that I had a thought on?
I think it was just social media in general, wasn't it?
Oh, right. Yeah. Not to say that we have social media figured out, but I think one thing that people forget with social media is it's not necessarily a way to get new clients, which it is, but it's a way that your current clients can really connect with you in a different way. And you can speak to your current clients in a way that you maybe don't get to in the session, as far as like educating them on certain aspects of their workouts or certain aspects of exercise. We have a robust email list that we're continuously trying to build out, but that's a great way for our clients to learn more about exercise, because we also have a blog as well. We'll attach videos, and that's a chance for us to social media and emails are a way for us to provide more value to our current clients, in addition to make new people aware of us. So I think that's where we really do have it figured out, and that's why our social media is doing much better. Is I get people tell me all the time in our workouts, like, "Oh, I saw that great post. I didn't know that." I told them 100 times in their workout, but when they watch an Instagram video, it resonates all the time. So I'm like, I've told you that so many times, but for some reason, the Instagram video is what drives the point home. And if that's what it is, then great.
Yeah, we've also recently become like expert contributors in a local magazine here in Oakland. So we're now like dropping an article every month into this magazine.
Nice.
And and it's already delivered, a client from the literally the very first article we dropped was in August. And a lady, called in, hey, I saw that article in the magazine, I want to come in. Great. And so we're doing that every month for the next year or so, see how it goes. And, it's a magazine that specifically targets a pretty, like our demo, right? So it goes to a very specific neighborhood, right? So we have it dialed in with like what our target demographic is, and and this magazine sort of drops right in that neighborhood every month. So it seems to be pretty interesting. It sounds like you guys are doing awesome, man. I'm so glad you were able to come and join us. I was sorry that we had to move it back, but happy that we got it to work today. And this is my first solo podcast, but
Ever?
Well, yeah, I mean, since I've been doing TNT, it's always been me and Jesse together. Yeah.
Wow.
Again, I had a previous podcast with my other company many years ago.
There's been less bangs and pows and gaws today, so that maybe that's why you guys don't have a...
I think I'm usually the one doing that, but who knows?
But you need Jesse to be talking so that you can start adding the sound effects. Yeah.
Exactly. So I can jump in on him. So yeah, I told him to go on his vacation and literally not think about work, not talk about it, not anything. So I'm trying hard to leave him alone and let him be for 2 weeks and come back completely, hopefully relaxed and refueled.
That's awesome. All right. Well, Liam, we appreciate you following through, even though it's by yourself. I think it still went great. I guess we just gotta.
Yeah. Either way, this will be a fantastic start, and I'm going to look forward to sort of keeping an eye on you guys and how you're doing and how things are growing and moving. And I'm confident it's going to continue to go well. And I'm looking forward to staying in touch as always. So you guys, if there's anything I can do for you, I'm always at your service.
Appreciate that, Liam.
Of course, same. And I'm going to send you those links, Liam,
and Jacob. I hope you're not asleep in the car over there.
Not even almost.
he's like relaxing. He's being chauffeured, so he doesn't really have to think about too much.
He's in the limo.
Yeah. He's got a bottle of whiskey in the back. Just put the divider up, and
You hit that right.
Great. Well, thank you for having us today, Liam. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Awesome. Great to see everybody.
Yeah.
Cappy's making sure everything sounds good. He didn't jump in, so I'm sure it's sounding perfect.
I concur.
Nice. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, you too.
You too.
Bye.
Boom, baby. What's up, people? Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Truth Not Trends. That's right here at TNT Strength Headquarters, Truth Not Trends. Please, if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, rate, and review us on whatever platform you're listening to us on. And don't forget to share with a friend. You can find us on the web at tntstrength.com. That's right, TNT Strength now coming to you in person at 5255 College Avenue in Oakland, California. You can call the studio 510-768-5421. You can also text us at 855-796-9905 or shoot us an email at contact@tntstrength.com. And whatever you do, stay off of that stupid blue bubbly boasting.
Make a note, Cappy.
Mixed and edited by Desmond McNeese for We Mixed It, LLC. Go to whatsoundsawesome.com.